Hey guys, what's good? Derek here from Bomb Socks with another day of Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. Yesterday, I kind of brought up this whole concept of how to handle things when stuff does not go your way in this crazy world, and we're introducing you to 4 people this week. The first one I want to introduce you to today is this wonderful woman here, Ruth. We even created a pair of Bible-themed bomb socks that people love with this cool picture of Ruth here. She is awesome, and let me tell you why she is awesome. So you start in Ruth chapter 1, and just right out the gate, in the first few verses, you've got a tremendous tragedy that takes place. So you've got a time when the judges rule, there's a famine in the land, there's a certain man of Beth-lehem-judah, so this is in the house of Israel, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons, because there is a famine going on. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They're Ephrathites, meaning they're of the house of Israel. So they come to this country of Moab where there is not a famine going on. And then all of a sudden, verse 3, Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And then verse 4, and they took them wives of the women of Moab. Again, these women are not of the house of Israel, but they went to this land where there's not a famine. And the name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth, and they dwelled about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. So all of a sudden, you're 5 verses in, and you've got a tremendous tragedy. You've got 3 widows. And life for widows back then in the culture was not good. You weren't able to claim property, and there was financially just a lot of difficult things for you. So all of a sudden, these 3 women are in a difficult spot. So now you've got these women, you've got Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law who they don't quite know what to do. So in verse 8, Naomi says to her daughters-in-law, "Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, and as you have dealt with the dead and with me." You've gone through some difficult things, so go back to your families where you can be able to have blessings. I don't know what I have that I can offer you. She even goes, in my old age, I'm not going to give birth to 2 more sons, and you can marry them. That's not going to happen. So the best thing for you to do is just go back. And these women loved Naomi. It even says in verse 14, they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law. So this was difficult for her, so she goes back. But Ruth clave unto her. Now it's interesting. So I looked up the name Ruth, and it says Ruth is predominantly a girl name of Hebrew origin, meaning friend or friendship or compassionate friend. It's derived from the Hebrew word reut, meaning friend. And so here you see Ruth cleaving to her mother-in-law. Now there's some cool things in verse 15. And she said, "Behold, thy sister-in-law has gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law." Verse 16 and 17 are some great ones. Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go. Where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and most importantly, thy God, my God. Where thou diest will I die, and there I will be buried. The Lord do so with me, and more also, if aught but death part me and thee." So you've got Ruth who's just like, I'm going to stay with you. Your God is a good God. It even says, now one of the things in the book of Ruth, the footnotes are fantastic. So make sure you utilize the footnotes as you're studying here. It like where it says in verse 16, where it says, "Thy God shall be my God," it leads you to the footnote of conversion. And so you see some wonderful things there. As I thought about this, she is steadfastly minded to go with her, it says in verse 18. When I thought about that, I thought about the quote from Elder Holland. Many of you are familiar with the quote from Elder Holland where he says, "Hold fast to what you already know and stand strong until additional knowledge comes." You have more faith than you think you do. So here she is holding fast to. The word clave back in verse 14 means to hold fast. And so when difficult times are coming, and this is a good lesson, I think, for what happens when things start happening that are not quite what you planned. What do? You hold fast to what you know until additional things start coming. Ruth holds fast to those covenants, and I really believe that is what we do during this time period. When things aren't going well, we hold fast to God. We cleave unto Him. We are steadfast to God. until additional knowledge comes. I don't think either one of them knew what the future held for them. So what do? They hold fast to what they know right now. Now, the cool thing is, when we get into tomorrow's episode, you're going to see the things that the Lord has in store for these wonderful women. So that's the first lesson, I think, when you and I are dealing with difficult things, when we're dealing with things that don't quite go our way. Hold on to what you know and hold tight to God. You cleave to those covenants and you'll see his blessings come to you. I know that's true. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and thanks for sharing these messages. We're so grateful that you do that. And if you haven't already, go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel themed socks, including the one with Ruth on it, at BOM-BITES.com. Godspeed. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.